Hey guys! Okay, this is your last writing assignment for this week. And again, I'm recording these all on the same day, so I'm not just being gross and wearing the same clothes, I promise. Um, to start off, I want you to, if you have it in your journal or on a separate device that you can, take a look at the writing you've done already this week, the 15 minutes and the 20 minutes I assigned you earlier, and we're going to take a look at those. If you haven't done those yet, because you're doing all the assignments in a row and you're going to do the writing time later, it's actually kind of important that you do that writing time before you do this assignment. So at least go take a couple minutes, 10 or 15 minutes, do a little bit of writing before you do this so that you can participate in this part, okay? I want you to take a look at some of the writing you've done this week, whether it's poetry or not poetry, just ideas, things like that. And I just want you to take a moment to notice and to look for specific things that we usually find in poetry or that we sometimes find in poetry that would be kind of fun to include. So we're just going to take a minute just to look at our poetry and see, or the writing that we've done, and see how many of these things have we included, what's something that we want to include next time we write, maybe at the end of this assignment, okay? So we're looking for specific elements of poetry, including things like sensory details. In your writing, have you been including sensory details? If so, please feel free to share them at the bottom of this assignment or send me an email with them if you'd rather just I know. But some interesting sensory details that you've written. Have you intentionally included any sounds in your poetry? So looking back at a couple of the poems we've read, are there words that describe sounds or actual sounds like boom, wham, shh, anything like that? Are there sounds that you've included that maybe aren't necessarily words that we usually use, but sounds that can make us experience something with you through your poetry? And last quick question for you, what decisions have you made about what a poem should look like on a page? So taking notice of the form. If you were to rearrange one of your poems into a specific form, how would you do that? What would it look like? You don't necessarily have to respond to any of these questions. If you want to, because you want my opinion or you just want to share them with me, please send me an email or include them at the bottom of this assignment. I would love to see them. But those are just a couple things that we can be paying attention to and looking at to include with our include in our poetry as we continue to move forward. Okay, but to jump into the actual lesson for today, we're going to be reading a new poem today called Windshield Wiper by Eve Miriam. If you want to follow along, it is on page 42 of your student writing handbook. I am going to read it twice, so keep that in mind. If you want to just listen the first time and then follow along the second time, you can. Okay, so again, this is Windshield Wiper by Eve Miriam. I'm going to read it twice. Okay. Fog, smog, fog, smog. Tissue paper, tissue paper. Clear the blear, clear the smear. Fog more, fog more. Splat, splat, downpour. Rubber scraper, rubber scraper. Overshoes, Macintosh. Bumbershoot, which a bumbershoot is just a funny word for an umbrella. Bumbershoot, muddle on. Slosh through, slosh through. Drying up, drying up. Skylighter, skylighter. Nearly clear, nearly clear. Clearing, clearing, veer. Clear, here, clear. Okay, I'm going to read that one more time. Follow along this time if you didn't the first. Fog, smog, fog, smog. Tissue paper, tissue paper. Clear the blear, clear the smear. Fog more, fog more. Splat, splat, downpour. Rubber scraper, rubber scraper. Overshoes, Macintosh. Bumbershoot, muddle on. Slosh through, slosh through. Drying up, drying up. Skylighter, skylighter. Nearly clear, nearly clear. Clearing, clearing, veer. Clear, here, clear. Kind of a funny one. That is our poem, Windshield Wiper. Okay. So I have a couple questions for you and then a short writing assignment for you as well. So remember, if you want to pause and go answer the questions as I read them, that's fine. If you'd rather just listen to them all and then go and answer the questions afterwards, that's fine too. Okay? What do you notice about this poem? It's kind of different from the ones we've read, but what in particular do you notice? Again, not just necessarily what it's about or how it's written, but anything about it. What do you notice about it? Okay, so that's the first question. Second question, how does the way the words are placed on the page help you understand what it's about? So if you look at the page, it's written in kind of an interesting way, isn't it? It's got kind of that line down the middle until the very end where we get the clear here, clear words at the very end. How does that help you understand what it's about? Or does it not help you understand? Does it make it more confusing? My first impression was that it was kind of like the windshield wipers on your car. It's kind of like having two of them. And they're going kind of back and forth across each other. And there's that middle section, you know that middle section right by the rear view mirror or right at the bottom that doesn't get wiped away? That's kind of what I imagine that line in the middle might be like, but maybe you imagine it differently. Tell me about it. How does the way the words are placed on the page help you understand or make it harder to understand? So that's your second question. Third question, what does this poem sound like? How does the poet create that sound? I know when I was reading it out loud, I had a very specific and very clear sound in my head. I was like, oh, that sounds just like this. But I want to see if you guys can figure it out too, and if you can describe how does the poet create that sound? It's really interesting. I hope you guys can figure it out. So sorry guys, I missed one. You have one more question to answer. What sensory details does the poet include? And why do those details make sense in this poem? What sensory details, why do they make sense? Okay. For your writing time today, I would like you to do a quick write for 5 minutes. And then you're going to do some writing time after that. But you're going to do a quick write first for 5 minutes. Remember, set a timer. And the goal of the quick write is just have your pencil on the paper the whole time. If you're writing, I don't know what to write, this is confusing, I'm not sure if I understand the assignment, and Miss Tolson's not here to help me, that's fine. You just be writing, okay? But hopefully you can come up with a couple interesting ideas. So your quick write today, I want you to write about things that move or make noise. They've listed a couple ideas here for you. I'm going to read those to you now. I'll include them in the seesaw activity. But just so kind of if you can't think of anything yourself, you have something that you can go back to. But try and come up with your own options, okay? So some things that move or make noise would be like a skateboard. Think about the way a skateboard sounds as it rolls over the cracks in the pavement. Or a bicycle doing the same thing. Bubbles in a fish tank. The wheel a hamster runs on. The bell on your dog or cat's collar. A bouncing basketball. An actual seesaw going back and forth. Trying to think of a couple things from our classroom to include as well. Maybe the sound that some of our cushions make when you move on them. I know we have a couple cushions that are a little bit loud. Think about that sound in particular. And for 5 minutes, I would like to do a quick write about things that move or make noise, and either just list a whole bunch of them or pick one and write about the sound it makes or how it moves. And then I want you to do about 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes of writing time. And I've listed your writing time options in the seesaw activity. So you can go ahead and get started with that. Remember, you can do it right in the seesaw lesson. You can do it on Google Docs and share it with me. If you want to just start a Google Doc that's your writing journal and then all of your writing goes in there, that's fine too, because then I don't get like 20 emails every time you start a new Google Doc. Or you can do it in your writing journal and send me a picture. Either of those options, any of those options work. For your quick write, I would prefer that you try and do it pencil to paper, but I know that not everyone has pencils or paper at home. So do whatever you can, and good luck. I miss you guys.